And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed those duct tapes from times gone by. We have an update. I did mention it in the chat earlier. We have been told that we have permission. We have been given access to a qualifying match. We are following Future into his next series, into potentially his final best of 3. We're here to find out. As spawning in the top left-hand corner of Gress Farm, we have the American Terran player representing Match Arena Esports. It is Future. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Gress Farm, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. So I apologize if I caused a little bit of confusion, but we have been casting at least the Korean qualifiers before this, and I guess because the qualifiers were a little bit smaller, because we had less players, the mainstream was covering all the qualifying matches. They were covering all those matches and even the lower bracket qualifying matches as well. And of course, we were the B stream. We let them have it. Of course, we're just focusing on covering everything else. But maybe because the bracket is a little bit larger, we have been given access to this TvT, Future versus ByuN. The winner of this series will be making it through into the main event. The loser, their run doesn't end here. The loser will be knocked down to the lower bracket, where they will have another chance, another life, another opportunity to make it into the main event. Here we go. As a reminder, this is not a best of 5, this is a best of 3, which is brutal. It's quite brutal indeed. Best of 3, 2 matches, 2 wins is all you need. Here we go. We are getting on into this. Both players going for a double gas opener. Both players going to be going for faster factories, later expansions. More aggressive openers here from our 2 players. No one feeling greedy enough to go for a Rax expand. No one greedy enough to go for a faster CC. As the Reapers are moving out as well. Again, a bold move here from Future. ByuN just quickly checking for a proxy, making sure nothing is going on. Eventually he does go for that CC on the low ground. Meanwhile, Future is diving in, looking to maybe even delay that CC if possible, but ByuN is in the area. ByuN should be able to zone this away. Up! Oof. As the grenades are a little bit too good, and ByuN does force Future back. Back at home, Future just going for the reactor on that. Rax is going to be pumping out additional Reapers and Hellions. Back at home, ByuN going for an add-on swap instead, and going for his add-ons instead, I should say, and going for a faster Cyclone. So more defensive opener here from ByuN, much more aggressive once again from Future. The Reapers have made it into the middle line. 1 SCV will go down. Can we get a second? Oh, it looks like, can we get a third? Oh, this is getting a bit out of hand. Oh my god. 3 SCVs up, and the Reaper as well. ByuN trading quite well for himself. You could argue, well, hold on, didn't he just lose his Reapers? Yes, but back at home, we don't really care about the Reapers. We have Cyclones in production, we have Marines as well. With these initial units, we should have enough to defend against a counterattack. We get a lock on the Hellion, and the first Hellion of Future goes down instantly, barely doing any damage to that Cyclone. Again, defensively, Cyclones are king here in TvT. We do see another lock on, another Hellion goes down. We will just barely get the Cyclone, but we trade 1 Cyclone for 2 Hellions and 2 Reapers. Well worth it for ByuN. He shuts this down. He's going to be able to get into the rest of his production. Has a setup for a 2-1-1, which is very ByuN-esque, by the way. I love this so much. ByuN and Maru, they mix this in every now and then in their TvTs. It's really risky. So, in a traditional Terran versus Terran, you should be doing what Future's doing. We have tank production, we have a tech lab on the starport for Raven production as well. It's all about the tank versus tank. What ByuN is doing is he is skipping, he's skipping tanks, he's skipping Ravens, he's going for a 2-on-1 stim timing with medevacs. He's going for an add-on swap here for these 2 medevacs, and this is really risky. Because in a way, you're setting yourself behind in the mid-game in favor of a strong timing here, in favor of doing some kind of damage with this drop. Very high risk, high reward in this matchup. The goal here is for ByuN to maybe get into a mineral line, get some economic damage done, maybe get on top of the tanks as well. Like, he straight up will have better Marines than his opponent. Meanwhile, we do see Future chilling back at home, working up the tank count, working up the Ravens as well. ByuN even getting a CC on location. A very fast start from ByuN. And here we go. The drop is upon us. The medevacs has arrived, and we are zooming across the map. The pressure is on ByuN to get some damage done. Future, though, reading this so well. He has a Viking. He has Cyclones. He's expecting a drop of some kind. No, he pulls back. Oh, he pulls the Viking back. Does he see? He barely... Oh, he barely does. He comes across the drop. He gets a lock on, and he's going to be able to take down one of those medevacs already. Oh, God. The Stim Marines are trying to chase us back, but this is a disastrous start for ByuN. Loses 5 Marines, a medevac, doesn't get into the main base, is deflected. And we can see that Future, he's got 2 Ravens and 3 tanks to the 1 tank of ByuN. So far, this hasn't worked out quite yet, but it's not over. It's not over. We still have, you know, a medevac. We still have Marines. We can still be active. We can even come across these Ravens, for example. Meanwhile, I appreciate that Future is moving out for some Raven harass. Upon seeing the 2-1-1, he knows that, I mean, it's going to be a waste to just build up energy and use them on disables when ByuN doesn't even have tanks to begin with. So may as well go for harass, but oh, there's a Cyclone waiting for them. Up! Ooh, forced the disable on the Cyclone. The Marines are looking to hunt down these Ravens as well. Up! Up! Oh my God, and ByuN goes to the Stim. He's looking for them. Future backs off just in time. Oh, it's so risky. It's so risky, puppy. The tank, no! The miss rally. Future has map control, and he is... Oh my God. Looking to come across this tank, but Future does pull back in time. Jesus. On a knife's edge at every turn. ByuN is almost finding damage. Almost. Meanwhile, the 3rd base is up and running. Has Future seen it? He has. He has seen the base. He's pushing out across the map. God, he has a lot of tanks. He's got a lot of Marines. With this scan, ByuN, he sees that the army's missing. He's going for a drop. He's going for some harass. Oof. Here we go. The army of ByuN trying to zone away these Ravens. So the drop is about to come in. Do we have anything at home to defend? We do have some Vikings. We do have a tank. Up. Lock on does take down a high energy Raven. Very good pickoff. Oh no! The second Raven gets locked on as well. Will survive. Across the map, the drop gets cleaned up. The drop has been cleaned up. Future did lose a Raven, which is pretty big. It's going to make it that much more difficult to break this location, but he is within range of that CC. Oh, tank gets caught out. ByuN making a lot happen with a little. He's going for a double drop as well. He knows that he can't really fight the main army, so he's not. He's just going for this constant harass instead. Going for the constant drop play. We can see tanks falling on the front line. Repositioning as well. The double drop comes in. Future has some units back at home to defend. He's losing SCVs. And the Marine count of ByuN is getting higher and higher. Another tank goes down. Oof. Every SCV as well. ByuN has pulled it back. 20 SCVs go down to the double drop. He gets cleaned up. He gets 2 more tanks as well. And ByuN is going to collapse on this army. Completely shut this down. He has the Marine count. Oh my God. He cleans this up. And Future is forced back. Any kind of advantage that Future once had is now gone. And he did so well. He did so well in the early game. But he fell apart. He fell apart to the drop play. Fell apart to the harass. This is where ByuN thrives. Another tank falls. ByuN, he was down in the tank count so heavily. But he is back. He's pushing out across the map. Forces a cancel on the 4th base. Boys are being pulled. GG gets called. And ByuN takes game number 1. GG. Oh my God. GG, well played. Despite ByuN's initial 2-on-1 falling on its face. It did fall on its face. It didn't really do too much damage at all. Even the first medevac drop that went into the natural didn't get too much damage done either. But we saw that over time, ByuN, he was picking off tanks, he was picking off reinforcements, he was picking off that first Raven as well. And that double drop into the main base secured the victory for ByuN, taking down every single SCV, taking down the tanks as they reinforced. Future was pulled apart. And ByuN, he turned water into wine. He made some magic happen, Papi. Oh, GG. GG, well played. And with that, we are getting ready for game number 2. Getting ready for the second game. Oh boy, but that was wild. That was close. That was pretty intense overall. Despite, of course, ByuN being the favorite, he had to work for it. He definitely had to work for it. And yeah, we'll see what they kind of go for here in game number 2. We'll see if ByuN goes for the 2-on-1 again. I feel like it's a build that you whip out every now and then. I don't think it's wise to heavily rely upon it in a best of series. But in saying that, even though it didn't have the best start, ByuN won anyway, so maybe it's worth it. Maybe it is worth it in the end. God, my hair is so rowdy. Jesus. So unruly. As we are getting ready for that next game. It looks like the players have asked for a bit of a break. And that's all good. It's all good. We are here to accommodate for the players. And they can take the time that they need to just stretch, get some water, go to the bathroom, and get ready. Just because these matches are oh so important. These are the qualifying matches, of course. It all comes down to this. It all does come down to this best of 2. Sorry, best of 3. My brain is on the WTL mindset where I'm thinking of best of 2s. And yeah, from here, we're just going to be waiting for the players to prepare before we get into our next game. Potentially the final game for the series. As a reminder, best of 3, so this could all end here and now. The pressure is on Future to fight back to force the ace match. Let's go. As our players have returned, we are back. We're getting into game number 2. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Royal Blood, we have the American Terran player representing Matcherino Esports. Down in the series, but not out, it is Future. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Terran player representing Shopify Rebellion. It is ByuN. Leading this series 1-0. So far, the SCVs are kept at home. So far, no proxies. No, it's been a while. It's been a while since I've seen ByuN proxy in TvT, which is crazy. It used to be something that he always does in a series. But recently, these past couple of weeks, these past couple of months, ByuN has been a little bit more tame. A little bit more caged in his openers. A little more standard. Which I appreciate. I do appreciate that. Meanwhile, I was just getting some updates. It looks like The reason why I couldn't find TY versus DRG is because they didn't play, actually. Unfortunately, it looks like DRG forfeited against TY, and TY is currently facing off against Ragnarok as we speak. Of course, we'll be jumping into the lower portion of the brackets after this series. We'll be jumping down there to cast whatever we can, to catch whatever we can. As Future, he was hearing us talk about the proxies, of course, and he's looking for the potential proxies, making sure that he isn't going to get cheesed. He doesn't go down to any proxy Reaper shenanigans. Oh my. Okay, so he scouts, he checks, and he throws down his own proxy factory. Okay. With this, his Hellion is going to be able to hit across the map much faster, of course. He's going to be in the face of ByuN much faster as well. So, bold move. We'll see how this does unfold. The first Reaper just going to be looking for some map control. ByuN likewise looking for any kind of proxies out of the map. Making sure he doesn't get caught with his pants down. CC on the way for both players. On location. And there we go. The Hellion is in production. Alright, so with this, Future is going to be able to reinforce a little bit faster, of course. He's going to be able to be as aggressive as possible. Now, unfortunately, I'm pretty sure Future was hoping that ByuN would go for the fast Cyclone again. That he would skip his Hellion production and go for the Cyclone. That didn't happen. We see a Cyclone coming out for ByuN, so as a result, we have an even worker count, an even army count. As Future dives in, and he does get a good volley off on the Reapers. Oof. Oh god, but his Hellion did take a lot of hits. He is being forced back. The Hellion has to pull back. He is going to be able to lay the CC. Just barely. The CC is delayed. Meanwhile, the Widowmine has arrived. Oof. As we trade a Hellion for a Hellion. The mine shot up. Oof, is going to go off. Does connect with the Reaper. But it may be worth it in the end as we do get another delay on the CC. Can we clean up the Marines? It looks like we can. Just barely clean them up. This Future is going to have to go back home. Meanwhile, ByuN is setting up for a Cyclone drop. Interesting. Unfortunately, I'm sure ByuN would have liked to have gone across the map with a couple more units, but he has run out. Has been losing a lot here defensively. Hellion, his Reapers, his Marines. And so far, this has been worth it. So far, this has paid off for Future. He's been able to take a slight worker lead just because of all those SCV kills. Just because his own CC was able to get up and running without too much issue. Meanwhile, the Cyclone has arrived, and we're going to be able to get a lock-on this on this medevac as ByuN does come across the factory. He's going to pivot away and towards the main. And yeah, this time we are making tanks and Ravens. We're not going for any kind of weird 2-on-1. ByuN is playing a lot more standard. He does drop into the main base. Widowmine does borrow. Oof. The mine shot will not go off. We're able to make up for that worker deficit. The worker count now evens up here with this drop. Good amount of damage done by ByuN. Oh. Ooh. Across the map, the Hellion goes down. Tank has been spotted, so Future is aware of the opener. He's aware of the 1-1-1. He knows that ByuN is cranking out Ravens and tanks. Like, this is a really awkward position because Future's about to lose his tank production. His factory is about to go down, and that's huge. That's disastrous. Borderline game ending. Tank is going to try to escape, but alas, it is going to go down here to the Cyclone. The factory is going to go down. Future's going to have to rebuild. He's throwing down 2 more Raxes instead. Oh my god. What is happening? We're going mass marine. Okay. Well, before we can get into that, we do have the disables from the side of ByuN. Tank is going to be going down, and ByuN is looking to bust on through. There's nothing here to defend. Stim is not done for future. He doesn't have the numbers. The Raven gets sniped by the Cyclone. And with these tanks, what can Future do? He has to pull the boys. Boys are being pulled. The Raven gets focused down. Auto turret as well, taking out so many of these SCVs. And even if we clean up these tanks, the damage has been done. GG gets called. And ByuN takes game number 2, qualifying for the Africa Champions Cup number 2. That's the wrong button. Hold on. Hey. GG, well played. Congratulations to ByuN for advancing on through. My condolences, Future. I appreciate the diverse play. I appreciate the diverse builds. But alas, it was not enough. Game 1 was crazy. Game 1 was the highlight of the series for me. Game 1 was the highlight. Here in Game 2, Future trying something a little bit different. Unfortunately, exposing his own factory, which means he didn't have any tank production. Likewise, he wasn't getting into too many Ravens either, and yeah, he was going into Mass Marine. Unfortunately, caught with his pants down, caught with ByuN playing a little bit more standard as opposed to Game 1, and yeah, congratulations, ByuN. He's going to be a part of the main event. Future, his run hasn't ended yet. He is still in this tournament. He just gets knocked down to the lower bracket.